Hello, I'm Jeremy,
And I'm Dawn.
and welcome to Enchanted Magic. Today, we're going to talk to you about my first trip to Disney World and Dawn's first adult trip to Disney World.
Kind of.
It only was 3 years ago, as of according to this. So here's how it went down. In 2021, Dawn said, I think we ought to go to Disney World. And I was like, well, what does that cost? And she was like, a couple $1,000s. I was like, okay. But she said, we can plan it out for like a year. And I said, well, a girl I went to school with is a Disney planner. So she got in touch with her. Dawn was like, we only got to put $200 down. And I was like,
I made
really?
it sound real good.
So anyway, I didn't put very much thought into it. I just knew we were paying a little bit here and there to go to Disney World. And I mean, I was semi-excited, but I didn't start thinking about the whole trip probably until a month or two out from it. And by that point, one of the businesses I have was super busy, and I didn't have time to like sit down and research much. So I was just like, we're going. I had to work the day before, or the day y'all left, I had to work basically. And I didn't get to leave till like 8 o'clock at night. So they drove down that day, got there at like 3 o'clock, whatever, went and checked out Disney Springs and all this stuff. I leave at 8 o'clock that night or so, get there at like 4 in the morning. Trying to think. I remember I pulled up. We stayed at Art of Animation. And I had like Googled the hotel and it looked cool. I mean, all you see is like a couple pictures. I didn't know anything about it. But I pull up and they're basically like, we need to scan your magic band. And I was like,
Don't have it.
I don't have a magic band. And they're like,
Do you know what your room number is?
I think they said something about the Disney app. Or I was like, don't have that either. Like, I guess they could have scanned my phone. Do you know your room number? Nope. I said, I can give you my name, and that's about it. So luckily, the guy was real nice, and he's like, okay, we found you, you know. And he told me, he was like, I don't know if you've ever been to Art of Animation, but you like pull in. It's still weird now that I even know it, but you pull in and go way down and then turn, and you end up at the front of the hotel. But I had no clue because there's trees blocking the extent of how big this hotel was. So he's like, go down here, do all this stuff. Well, by the time I get down there and turn, I'm like, I have no idea where I'm at. So luckily I had the Life 360 thing on my phone. So I'm like,
He's following my face.
she's asleep, or I guess I'd text her that I was there, but I'm basically trying to get to where her thing's at. So I just park out in the middle of some random parking lot and walk a half mile. Well, then Dawn was like, you can park over here. So we unload the car at 4 in the morning, whatever. And I was like, listen, in the morning, you're going to Magic Kingdom. Y'all going to Magic Kingdom. I don't want to like have to get up early. I just worked and drove, and it's 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm just going to sleep, and whenever I naturally wake up, I'll head over there. But how do I get there? And I think she said, just text me or something. Anyway, so I woke up when y'all were leaving and spoke, and y'all left, and I thought, okay, and I slept for another 3 or 4 hours. First mistake was we probably should not even bought me a park ticket for that day because I only ended up being there like 2, maybe 3 hours, if that. So I wake up. It's probably a 10:30, 11 o'clock. I think by then, I'm pretty sure you had told me about the My Disney Experience. I downloaded that app, and I was looking at like where I could find something to eat. So I got ready, walked over to the cafeteria, and got me a cheeseburger, and was pretty happy about that. And then I figured out where the buses were at. So I made a video walking out of there, going on to the bus. And I was pretty happy with that. And I was like, this is pretty cool. And then I don't remember if you wasn't answering me or what, but I had to use the Life 360 again once I got into Magic Kingdom to try to find y'all. But I will say, my first wow moment, I remember walking into the Magic Kingdom and just being kind of like, it's hot, I'm here. Hot. But then when I seen Main Street, I thought, when I turn this corner, I'm going to see that big castle like I've always heard about and seen and stuff. And sure enough, I turned the corner, there's the castle. I'm like, okay, this is cool. Well, I end up walking all the way up Main Street, and y'all were coming from somewhere, and I met y'all at the hub there.
Oh, and there was a show going on.
Yeah, and we took a few pictures and stuff, and then
his first mistake, though, was he didn't get there till like
it was
1,
yeah.
And it was like middle, like right at the peak hottest time of the day.
Like I said, I shouldn't even went that day because, I mean, I basically either I would have went first thing in the morning and slept like 2 hours. That would have been awful, or done what I did.
And I think if we would have known then, what
Yeah.
we knew, like what we knew now, we probably would have just.
I would have probably been better off chilling at the hotel till y'all
Yeah.
got back, because we go and we ride. You had lightning lanes and you had no idea how to use them.
No, I did not at all.
You were like, we got the Jungle Cruise booked. And I was like, okay, it sounds cool. So we go there, and I have no idea that the Jungle Cruise is these skippers telling corny jokes. So for about 3/4 of the ride, I'm thinking, something's wrong with this lady or whatever. You know what I mean? I'm literally
This
thinking,
is not funny.
like, I'm literally thinking, like, I mean, I'm laughing at some of it, but then finally I think, well, maybe this is like the way they're supposed to be or whatever. So I didn't know until probably months later that that's the normal thing or whatever, because I'm just sitting there like, I thought this was going to be like an enjoyable boat ride through the jungle or something. I had no idea. So, secondly, Dawn had made us 12 shirts each or whatever that we were supposed to wear each day. And I guess, I don't know if I should have washed them first or if it was just the material, but they were it was already hot, but it was just, them things were making me pour sweat. And I was just like, I'm miserable. Anyway, so we leave at like 5 o'clock or something. And looking back, why in the world would you leave at 5? Nobody knew any better.
Nobody knew. Because,
But
let me explain.
We had booked, Dawn had booked the T-Rex Cafe at Disney Springs at, I don't remember what time. It was after dark.
I can't remember. But anyways, let me explain. The last time I went was in 2005. Okay, there was no such thing as these lightning lanes. It was what was it, Fast Pass?
Yeah.
And the thing about the Fast Pass is you had to like go up to these kiosk things and like do this whole thing to like get a Fast Pass or get a But I had no idea anything about this whole Disney experience thing. I had tried to watch some videos before we went, and then our planner lady was trying to tell me how to do all this stuff. So it was almost kind of like, it was my first adult trip, like my first trip where I planned something. So it was plus we took my whole family.
Yeah, that was probably another mistake. Nothing
Against the family.
But didn't know what to do, much less trying to get 7 or 8 people all on the same page. So we leave Magic Kingdom at like 4 or 5 or whatever it was. What else did we ride? I think the only thing I rode was Jungle Cruise.
Probably. That day, yeah.
We leave and go chill and get ready, and everybody's supposed to meet at the T-Rex Cafe at Disney Springs, and I think we drove there. Or did we? Maybe we didn't.
I think we did, yeah, because we parked in the garage, and then
why would we have drove there? But anyway, we drive there. At the parking's a whole mess. I didn't realize that you had to go through security anything at Disney, and I remember being a little angry. I'm like, we in a hurry? Why are we having to go through this? Anyway, so we go to the T-Rex Cafe. It was pretty cool. And then it was busy though. We were about 5 minutes late trying to meet with everybody else after we didn't park and done all this mess. It was busy, and somewhere I've got a video like holding my phone up recording, and we are speed walking through this huge crowd. So anyway, T-Rex is cool. And at this point, I'm sort of getting an idea of how big this whole place is, because like I just assumed it was all somehow connected and you just walk wherever every day. Like I had no idea. So anyway, and I had seen the Skyliners at least running. We hadn't been on one yet at this point. So second day, I think we went to
Magic Kingdom,
Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking vacation, like we go to the beach vacation, and I'm like, I'm not getting up when these parks open. I'm not getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning and going and doing this. Like, we'll just get up when we get up. And I did know Joanna would be ill doing that, but I didn't know anything about none of this. So we're getting up and just rolling in at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, whatever. Well, we get to Hollywood Studios.
This was also another day where I had left, right? And I rope dropped with everybody.
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
I just know. So anyway, Hollywood Studios was cool, and I did a little walking around. And at this point, I was in my head like, these are big places. Maybe I could just go take a bunch of pictures and check all this stuff out. And I did that a little bit. And I remember it being hot. And I remember my phone just kept ringing and ringing and ringing. People asking me about archery stuff because that's one of our businesses or whatever. And I was thinking, leave me alone, people. Well, anyway, I don't even remember what we did. I do remember we went to the play and dance thing.
Oh, yeah.
And that was cool. That was a neat thing. And I don't remember what we did immediately after that. But Dawn had again booked us a lightning lane for the Slinky Dog Dash. And she was, now at this point, here's what I have in my head. I hadn't rode a roller coaster in 15 or actually more than that years, 20 years. The last time I rode one was in 2006, and for whatever reason on that particular experience at Six Flags, even though I'd rode that roller coaster 10 times before, I just got like real dizzy, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm just getting too old to do this. I'm done. And I was like 20, whatever. So I'm thinking, we're at a theme park. There's going to be all these massive roller coasters. Well, so far I hadn't seen them. And Dawn's like, this is a Slinky Dog Dash. This is a kiddie coaster. You know, it does kind of hoop-de-hoops or whatever. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. I mean, I don't look it up. I mean, I see it, but it's a kiddie coaster. And Joanna's, how old is she, 3?
No, she's almost 5.
Okay, she's almost 5.
Almost 5.
We flop down on this thing, and it kind of launches out of the bay there, you know what I mean? And I remember I had her, but I remember thinking, like, I ain't even prepared myself. And we went down some little hill, and Joanna had somehow let her head go down and couldn't get her head up because we were doing whatever with the G-forces. And I was thinking, I can't help her because I'm about to die myself over here. So about midway through.
And y'all know how it stops.
When it stops and the little things and it goes, hang on, here we go. Well, at that point, Joanna's saying, is it over? Is it over? And I said, I don't think so. It might be, hopefully. Well, then when you launch out of there, you go up that big old hill
You
and
do
over.
that.
And I was thinking, oh, God, oh, God, oh, God. So by that point, she's screaming, help me, help me. And I'm thinking, oh, this is awful. And so we get done. And she's not squalling or anything, but she is in complete shock. And I'm about halfway there myself, and I'm thinking, this is why I quit riding roller coasters. Anyway, so she did not like that. So luckily, fast forward, 2 years, we got her back on it. Now that we started where we should have with the Barnstormer and worked our way up, she's fine with it.
Good.
But anyway, that was a bit of an intense first
roller coaster ever
for her, and a return to roller. I mean, there's not that it's that intense. I just wouldn't expect. I was expecting like when it comes to the fair that just goes do 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 do, and here we go at that thing. Hold on, and so anyway, we had that experience. I didn't know anything about anything there. I just remember sitting for an extended time, kind of where Toy Story Land and Star Wars Land meets. I don't remember what y'all were doing or whatever, but I just remember sitting there forever. And being hungry and being hot.
He was hangry.
I don't remember anything else we did that day after that.
You and Joanna had went back to the hotel.
I think you're right.
And I went back with y'all, and then I came back to meet everybody at Hollywood Studios to finish out the evening.
Because Joanna's fine just going to a hotel.
Yeah, she's
not that she don't like Disney, but and it was hot. She was kind of complaining. I didn't even know what I was in the middle of, so we went by the hotel. I think me and her went to the pool or something. Yeah. The next day we went to
was it Universal.
Universal, and y'all went early,
yeah.
And me and her just got up and came at like 9 or 10 o'clock. And I remember the security people giving me a hard time about I had that big old power bank, and he was like, what is this? I said, a charger or whatever. This ain't no charger. I ain't never seen one this big, blah, blah. And we went back and forth, and I was about ready.
He was already mad.
So anyway, we get in. I can't figure out for the life of me to get to where they are. They're on the
Islands of Adventure.
No, that's where we were at. Y'all were on the other side.
Yeah.
So finally, I see the dinosaur stuff. First of all, it is hot, ain't the word. So I bought one of them big old hats, the big straw hat, trying to not die. And I bought me and Joanna some kind of frozen drink thing. We went to the dinosaur stuff and ended up inside that little dino thing. There's a dinosaur and a playground. I can't remember what all. And I think they might have like dinosaurs' eggs or something.
Yeah.
And we were in there for ever, it seemed like. And then y'all finally found me. We met the dinosaur that jumps behind you. She was squalling because it freaked her out.
You never even went to the Islands of Adventure side.
I didn't know that it existed. No, I went to Islands of Adventure. I never went to the Universal
I keep
Studio
getting them
side.
backwards.
And I kept in my head thinking I had seen on somewhere, like the front of that park with the little globe and everything. And I thought, well, I don't know where it's at. So did I even...
I don't even know if you rode anything
I don't think I rode anything at all. I now remember that day was probably the peak of my being pissed off because I don't know what y'all were doing, but we sat there and waited forever, and there was a kid or two beside me just screaming bloody murder for like 45 minutes straight. And I kept sending TJ a Marco Polo just looking at him and was like, you need to just come get me. So it rained. We went back in the dinosaur thing. I don't think I rode anything. Honest to God, I don't remember walking other than that little half moon thing back and forth past the freaking dinosaur thing, and I had no clue the whole other side of the park existed. I didn't know that this was not a part of Disney World until the morning of, basically. I had no idea. So that's the boat I'm in.
This was also the time that I realized I will never, ever be going back to Disney World again. Because Jeremy was miserable.
So
he hated it.
We got there Saturday, Sunday.
Did we have a rest day?
Wednesday was supposed to be the rest day, and I had concluded that it has been quite a long time since I've been to the middle of Florida, and I've always wanted to see the Kennedy Space Center. It's only an hour away.
Oh, it was a rest day, but we went to the Halloween thing that night, just us three.
Hang on.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I announced to Dawn, I was like, me, you, and Joanna are going to the Kennedy Space Center on our rest day. It was a Wednesday, I think. And we loaded up that morning and rolled out there. And again, I had no clue how big this place was. You could spend a day there easy.
Yeah.
But it was cool. We got to see rocket ships and all that. But that night, we had the Halloween party tickets. And that's why I wore my shirt. I didn't have the shirt but I'll tell the story about it in a minute. So, I should have wore one of them shirts you made. I still got them.
I'll never again do that.
You just made one a while ago?
I asked you if you wanted it, though.
I know. It feels like a better material. So we go to that party, and I will admit that party was fun because we got to get our trick-or-treating done. We didn't have the whole crew with us. It was just us three. I had more time to kind of explore. I got to see the Boo to You parade. So I was like, and also, I mean, I didn't cover the whole park, but we explored enough to where I had the lay of the land down a little bit, which will come into play on the last day. So everybody else had just stayed at the hotel, and I guess they just stayed at the hotel. I can't think.
My
daddy
dad and my
Epcot.
stepmom went to Epcot that day.
I had a friend the whole time saying, y'all are not going to Epcot, y'all done lost your mind. I had no clue. And I'm like, I don't know.
Well, I also didn't think that Joanna, again, I had not been since 2005. I also did not think that Joanna would enjoy herself at Epcot, and now it's like one of her favorite places.
So that was Wednesday. Thursday, we went to Animal Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
I thoroughly enjoyed the Animal Kingdom trip. I do remember that. That was maybe the turning point. Actually, the worst part was the Universal Studios being in the heat, not knowing where I was at. Y'all kept abandoning me and going and doing whatever y'all were doing that I didn't even know how to find you. And me and Joanna kind of did our thing. Kennedy Space Center was neat. The party thing was neat. Animal Kingdom was neat. I don't remember much. I remember we got on that Navi River boat, and I was like, what in the world is all this stuff? We didn't ride Flight of Passage. We did do the safari. That was good. We went to Dino Land. I remember your daddy got on Dinosaur, and he was like, it'd probably be a little rough for her, talking about Joanna.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, is it a roller coaster? And they were like, not really. So in my head, I'm thinking, this is an inside roller coaster. I ain't getting on it. I didn't know it was like a car. We got on Triceratops Spin. We ate at Flame Tree Barbecue. Mm-hmm. We seen the Nemo show. Anyway, Animal Kingdom was a good day. That would have been... And then I think then we went back to Magic Kingdom on our last day. And we didn't get there at rope drop, but we got there a little earlier. I already had kind of figured out where stuff was at by then. It was an okay experience. I don't remember what we rode or didn't ride.
I can't remember either.
God, I'm trying to remember.
I know that we rode Little Mermaid, and I know that we rode Small World.
I remember,
and we did the carousel. I know that.
We seen the parade from like the perfect spot where it gets to the end of Main Street and turns and goes around. I think I got a video of it. Seen the parade, did all that stuff, and then we went back to the hotel, and I think that's when we DoorDashed that shrimp and crab legs and all that, and that was good.
Oh yeah.
Actually, I know it was. And then, at this point, I don't know. I didn't hate it, but I still didn't know anything about it. I'm just kind of like whatever. So we left the next day, and your people left early, and I wanted to go by the Daytona International Speedway, so we did that and killed about an hour. Something I'd never seen.
It was fun.
So that was neat, and and then we stopped at a Buc-ee's, and that was a mistake because it was middle of the day, and it took us like an hour and a half by the time we tried to finally get off the interstate. That was a big mistake. But anyway, so that got this whole thing started. So at the end of it, I was still kind of like, I've seen it.
That was a lot of money for what?
Yeah, that was a lot of money, whatever. But for whatever reason, I guess it intrigued me enough to we come back, and I started watching. It started with All Ears videos, and I'd seen enough to know like when they were showing stuff. Well, then that's when I basically over the next month I discovered how much stuff I had missed and didn't have a clue about.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started watching like Paige and Mr. Morrow. So I start watching Paige and Mr. Morrow right after we got back, because that would have been end of October. And Joanna starts watching
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Nightmare Before Christmas. I think I might have seen part of it before, no idea. But she falls in love with it. So then I start watching it. So between Halloween and Christmas, I start watching Paige and Mr. Morrow, and he's wearing these cool Roosevelt shirts. So this was my first Roosevelt shirt that I wore for that Christmas. And basically in those 2 or 3 months, I went from not knowing about the whole Disney thing to going wild about it and starting to learn like everything. And then one thing that really turned me on was like all the history and stuff, especially like Haunted Mansion and how this whole place was built and the monorail and we did on our last night. I wanted to just kind of like see Epcot. So we rode the Skyliner to Epcot just to see what we could see. We couldn't go in, and then rode it back. And that was like, So anyway, I spend a whole year researching and planning for the next October, and we go back in 2023, and I've got this thing planned to a T, and we literally did everything you could do in 3 or 4 days we were there. I'm talking everything. And we went back to another Halloween party. We went a little bit later in October, which was key.
Yes.
Because early October was flaming hot. Late October, in the middle of the day, is still hot, but it was okay. So we do everything you can do, and I've got all this transportation figured out, monorail, Skyliners, this, that, and the other. We stay at All-Star Movies. That's cool.
He did his homework.
So then I was like, all right, we hooked. We need to start looking at annual passes. So that was 2023. Last year, we went for our anniversary. It was like a 48-hour trip, and I had it planned again where we could...
And it was just me and him.
We knew we couldn't leave long with Joanna here because after probably 2 or 3 days, she's going to start wondering, like...
Is my parents abandoned me?
What's going on?
At?
So it worked out to where we like left. She went to bed on like a Tuesday. We left, flew out we went to Atlanta, flew out early the next morning, landed at 7 a.m. And at the time you could book lightning lanes or whatever at 7. So, I mean, we're literally touching down and I'm booking lightning lanes and I get all the ones we need. Had we been to Epcot at this point?
I think you planned us. I think we went to Epcot on our trip when we went the October before, didn't we? Or no?
Mm-mm.
Okay, yeah, so this was our first time at Epcot then.
Yeah, this was the first time. So we land. I like to use all the transportation just for what, so we we land, get dropped off at Hollywood Studios. All we took was a backpack apiece because we're only there for like 2 days.
Barely.
So go to Hollywood Studios, jump on the Skyliner, go into the back of Epcot. It was flower and garden. We walk in, see some stuff. I think we rode like Soarin'.
We rode pretty much everything.
A bunch of stuff, yeah. And then flipped. I'd have to even think back. I don't remember what the whole agenda was. Did we go to Hollywood Studios after that? I think we probably did.
So, probably.
Well, I think we went and checked in, and then we went to Hollywood Studios. Yeah.
Wait, wasn't Hollywood Studios that night that we stayed? We bought the extended hours.
That's right. I had bought extended hours, so we went, checked in, and then went to Hollywood Studios, ate at the sci-fi thing, and then did all the Hollywood Studios stuff. That was our first time riding Rise of the Resistance. I was already thinking a lot about the Star Wars stuff because I'd seen that land when we went the first time and was like, what is all this stuff? After we rode that ride, I was like, I got to figure this stuff out. So that's when I watched. I didn't know I knew like who Luke Skywalker was, Darth Vader, Chewbacca. That's basically R2-D2 maybe. But so anyway, that turned on some Star Wars stuff. That was till like midnight, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, Sci-Fi gave me some kind of food poisoning ordeal for about 16 hours. Anyway, I woke up the next morning feeling like crap. And I was like, we can just sleep in. Luckily, Dawn was like, we're only here for whatever, let's go. So we bolt to Animal Kingdom, get there for rope drop, stay for like 3 hours, jump over to Magic Kingdom, spend the rest of the day there. Basically, we did everything you could do in 2 days, and then woke up the next morning, went and ate Mickey waffles, flew back home. Then at that point, we were like, I was 100%. We're getting annual passes, so we saved money up until October, which was this last October, which was like an 11-day trip. And we bought the annual passes, and we did like 2 different resorts, and overall, it was a neat trip. With that many days, you can really kind of have some plans, but move stuff around. It was nice. And then we went back. That was October into November 1st, I think, or something like that. And then we went back in December. About a week before Christmas. I would say that was cool to see, but not necessarily if you're wanting to ride stuff because there's so many people there.
And it was really cold.
We went back right before Valentine's Day. That festival, the arts, that was a neat festival at Epcot. And now we're going back for our flower and garden thing. We'll be there for 5 days?
5 days, yeah.
So, and then we got to plan out. I know the summer is going to have a bunch of cheap hotels. I done looked at them, so I got to figure out some summer stuff and when our next trips and all that are and what we're going to do. October's like, we always go. We're going to figure that plan out, but that's basically how.
And the moral of this whole entire story is don't let Dawn plan your Disney vacation.
What was funny, I seen a guy that I know that comes into our archery store, and he posted a picture at Disney the other day, and he was like, I forget how he worded it, but it's the same thing. He was like, I thought I was going to hate this, but like I'm ready to come back. And I was like, I'm telling you, dude.
Yeah. But I guess it is good, though, because, he came back, he did his research, he did all of his homework, and now I've created a Disney monster. And I'm okay with that.
Well, and even like, I'd seen plenty of Disney movies, but
not all of them, and not the new ones.
Yeah, primarily like late 80s, early 90s stuff. Little Mermaid, 101 Dalmatians, Aladdin, all that sort of stuff. So now I have branched off and tried to. Well, Star Wars was a whole thing, and I still need to. The newer Star Wars stuff I hadn't paid much attention to. I need to do that. I'd seen Toy Story 1 and 2. I watched 3 and 4 recently. I'd never seen The Incredibles. I watched the first one, half of the second one. I need to watch Zootopia.
Zootopia was cute.
I don't know what else. But anyway, so that's the whole...
Still a bunch of stuff.
I guess the moral is stay away from Disney because you'll spend all your money there. But it is just... The whole thing, they got it planned out neat. Like the transportation, there's boats and there's monorails and there's skyliners and buses and trams and everything else. The parks are neat, the way they work, the whole thing is just pretty cool. So, if I would have had time to watch some stuff before we went, that would have helped a lot. I might have watched 1 or 2 videos, but I had no clue. It's hard to understand what they're talking about when you've never seen it. and it's like, what's going on? So anyway, so basically right after that, the All Ears and the Disney food blog, about every night I would watch the food blog and see what was the news was and what was going on, and I at least knew then what they were talking about. So it's something else. That's my story. And then we've stayed at, I want to stay at all the different hotels. We've stayed at a bunch now.
Yeah.
And
Want to eat at all the places.
yeah, we're slowly eating at like new places, and we've ate at a bunch, but just trying new stuff. Really, I mean, like the boathouse at Disney Springs is up there on my list.
Mm-hmm.
Probably top of the list is still Space 220.
Oh, yeah.
And I see some people complain about it, so we could have hit it on a real good night, but that food was perfect.
It was good.
I've always liked space stuff. Joanna likes space stuff. The whole theming was cool. Crystal Palace was cool because it was literally, I was like, we're about to starve to death. What's got availability? Crystal Palace, let's walk over there. We walk in, and it was like the coolest thing.
Yeah. And you got to meet characters.
Yep.
So it was a win-win. And it was not busy at that time. I think it was like almost closing time just about. So, I mean, all the characters, it was the Winnie the Pooh characters. So all the characters, they came and spent a little extra time with us, and it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. It's probably up there on my top 5.
And it's buffet, but it was real good. And like it could be because it wasn't super busy or whatever,
or because we were starving. But
yeah. Anyway, so that's my Disney story. I'm sure there's parts I left out, but I need to look back through the pictures of that first trip, and I could probably get a better remember the timeline or whatever. But got it, and it's crazy because I was like, I'm not getting up at 7. We're going to sleep in, and we'd stay 4 or 5 hours and come on back to the hotel or whatever, and like.
And now that's why whenever friends tell us, they're going to Disney, we're just like, make sure that you stay. You got to see these shows. And I mean, it's mainly people that have not been there before. We're just like, we've made the mistake already. Okay, so y'all make sure that y'all stay because you'll regret it if you don't.
I remember another guy I know texting me when, like, first day or two, he texted me or something, just checking in. I don't remember. And I was like, dude, this is a mess. And he was like, I told him that, like, we'd slept in, or you'd already went, but me and Joanna had slept in until 9 or 10. And he's like, you just lost your mind. He's like, when we go, we're staying there 30 minutes before it opens. And I was like, what are you talking about?
You're like, I'm on vacation.
So anyway, but yeah, that's my story. Really, it took, in a year, I mean, I'll never forget that next October we went, and I had planned every little detail out. And that was the one where y'all didn't get on Mine Train, right? But I bolted on the Mine Train that year at the very last second of the party, and he was like a kid in a candy store. Yeah, and literally done every ride you could do in the park, got every candy you could get done. I mean, we did it all. And then this past year, that was when we all got on Mine Train. At the last minute, and they closed it right behind us. But yeah,
and it's so nice now that Joanna's traumatized is over from when I put her on Slinky Dog, because she rides everything now pretty much, except obviously she's not going to do Tron yet, but we got her on Mine Train this year.
Yeah, and Big Thunder before it closed. I think she'll be fine on Test Track when it reopens. And then I think
we'll slowly get her onto like Guardians, and
I don't know.
That one's a little bit intense, but
I don't know what the next big one would be. I guess it would be.
I would try to do Guardian. Well, I don't know.
I don't know.
Which one has she not done? Guardians, Tron,
Rock and Roller Coaster.
Oh yeah.
Rock
and Roller Coaster, because that one flips.
But I mean, the twisting of the seat thing is probably as disorienting as the flip. I don't know. It'd be hard to say.
That one is. All three of those are kind of.
Actually, I'll tell you what. The next one will be Everest.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, it's got that backwards part, but at least it's.
But I think she'll be okay.
Straightforward.
Because it's
not, that'll be the next one, and I mean, it'll be easy. It won't be easy, but it'll be.
Yeah, because I was really concerned about her in what was it, Rise? No. Is it Rise, the one that drops a little bit? I was concerned that she was not going to like that, and we You have to know how to word it for kids, and he is good at wording things for kids because he says it's a slide. No, not a slide. It's a.
I don't know.
I can't remember how he said it, but he worded it to a point where it didn't make it sound as it's going to drop. Then she was okay with that, and then while it was happening, she was okay. So
yeah,
you just have to know how to, I guess, talk to kids and.
Anyway, I've told my story. I'll one day or soon or whenever I'll look through all them pictures, and I mean that was our basic itinerary. There's more that we did, a little bit more, but me and her spent a lot of time at the hotel, like messing around in the pool and doing this, that, and
arcade
other.
and all that fun stuff.
Anyway, thanks for listening to my story. If you got any kind of Disney World questions, put them in the comments or email them to jeremytherapytv@gmail.com, and we'll talk about them on here next time. And other than that, thanks for watching, and we'll see y'all soon.
Bye.